Star Wars Ewoks, better than the Acolyte? Let's discuss tonight. Everyone, welcome back to another Ewok-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Ewoks, Season 1, Episode 5, The Traveling Jindas.
Wrong button. Dang it.
You should have done like the Sparkle one, because that's more like what the episode was.
Nope. No. There it is.
There you go. Okay, now we're done with that. All right, we're back. So, we're really looking for things to do when we're back with Ewoks. We got stuff planned, but we can't just do all the good episodes all in a row. So we got to spread it out. But yes, we are back with the Ewoks, and it's kind of like a running joke that it's so bad we like it type of thing.
That theme song, dude, that I always forget how long that is. It was almost 2 minutes. Because I was watching it, I'm like, oh, I gotta hurry up and watch this before we do the podcast episode. So I was watching it, and then I was like, skip it. And then I skipped the intro, and it still was half the song. I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Did you do the same thing?
Well, I skipped it, and then it started playing again. Continuing, so I just jumped ahead, skipped ahead. Yeah. But I don't know. I just don't understand why Andrew hates that song so much.
It's way better than the.
It's not a bad. He thinks musically, it's just a terrible thing. No, it's perfectly fine. I don't know.
It's a good early 90s. It was or 80s actually, right?
1985.
Yeah, it's 85's catchy. They probably had a similar song for cereal back then.
Probably.
It's what it is. I don't know. I like it.
Yep. But we should say that next week, for Labor Day week, we are not recording an episode, but we do have a special pre-recorded episode that will be going up next week instead. And it might be one of our funnest episodes we've ever done in the history of Empire Radio.
I would agree. When you send up the mock video, I watched that whole thing.
You did?
I did, because I was just I love that. It was one of the best episodes I think we've ever recorded. Yes, and it was really fun.
I think I spent 15 to 20 hours editing the video because I made it all special because I had the extra time to do it, and took forever, a lot of troubleshooting. And I finally got in a groove, and I had to go back and fix things because the second half I finally started to get it. So I had to go back and redo the first half. But it was a lot of fun. Andrew was with us for that episode, and I think it'll be a running series in the future. Mm-hmm. But we're keeping it a secret because it's a really good episode, and we hope you guys like it. So make sure you go watch it on YouTube. I spent a lot of time editing that, and it'll be a lot more fun to watch with the visuals that I put in it than just listening to it, because then
you guys have the day off. Wait, no, that's the weekend. No, you don't. Never mind.
I'm going to do it instead of this live stream. We're going to have this go up a day early on Wednesday next week. So
gotcha.
So be sure to go check out that and give me a thumbs up, because I put a lot of work into editing that. So yeah, but you're not here for next week. You're here for this week, and it's Ewoks time. So we might as well just jump into this scene. Well, first of all, what did you think of this episode, Drew?
It was fine. So I was we left the fair, and I was watching on the way home. You know why I wasn't. So I was watching on the way home. I wasn't driving. My wife was driving. So I was watching it, and then at first I asked Miles, I'm like, Miles, do you want to watch this with me? And I was holding it over my shoulder, and he's like, no. And he was playing his toys. And then so I put it on my other hand, and I was leaning against the door, right? Watching it. And I moved it, and I hear in the background behind me, Daddy, I can't see. And so he started watching it. So I don't know. It was fine. It was what I don't know. Like it's always fun for me to watch those with Miles because he likes them more than me actually enjoying what it is. Especially this one. This one was this.
It was kind of weird.
It was just kind of like this girl gets not kidnapped, but kind of kidnapped.
She kind of runs away, and then they kind of say, "Well, you can't really leave because we don't know how to get you back home.
Because we
So you gotta stick with us, and you're gonna enjoy it. It take a couple years, you'll start enjoying our life, whatever. But
and it was like kind of enslavement too. Like, yeah, it was interesting.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like this was like because it was focused on non-Ewoks.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't feel like it was part of their like Ewok universe type of thing.
Yeah, like
so it was like a spin-off episode almost. And
it was about a character too that we weren't really super familiar with too. Like it wasn't about Wicked. So
no, but Wicket was in it a little bit.
He was there. Like he
like all the
saved
main
day,
guys were there, but a little bit. But like Latara, which is like she's just one of the kids. It was wrong with her, so it was all right.
Yeah, it was fine. They're hating on her music, but
it's probably the best part of the whole episode.
Like the main theme song is kind of like, so it was kind of funny.
Yeah, so might as well just jump into it. Get this done tonight.
This might be a fast episode, you guys. Yep. If you're listening. So, I mean, obviously you can tell by the. Do we have a lot of or voicemails to fill some time gap?
We have 4 voicemails.
Oh yeah, that should work.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, so Latara, one of the kid Ewoks, she's practicing her wood flute thing, and she's actually pretty good. And then her dad comes by, stop messing around, get back inside and do your chores. And she's like, oh, no fair, Dad, blah, blah, blah. You know how kids are. And so she goes in and she's doing her chores and she's just hating it. Then all of her friends come by, hey, we're going to go do this, this, and this. Want to come with? And she's like, I got to do chores, but I can play my flute. And she starts playing her flute, and then they just like, sorry, we don't want to listen.
Bye.
So she felt bad or whatever. And then like her mom comes in and is like, stop messing around with that flute. Get back to work. I got to leave. And because I leave, you got to watch your little kid siblings or whatever. So you're babysitting. So she has to do the chores, and she has to babysit her 2 siblings. And she's a kid. Where's her dad? Who knows? But, yep. And then so as she's like complaining about babysitting, it transitions to the Duloks, the enemies of the Ewoks, the guys that look like the Grinch. And the mom Dulok is going crazy, doing all the chores herself and taking care of the kids. And the dad's just sitting there on his lazy boy recliner type thing, and she's like, something like, what is it? What was her threat? Like something, if you don't do this, okay, she wants to go out or whatever, and she's like, if you don't get a babysitter, you're not getting supper or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And so
he just grabs the 2 knuckleheads.
Because the dad is like the Dulok king or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like he just sticks his head out the window, and I call them X and O because one had X and one had O on their chest.
Yeah.
Just so I guess we could tell them apart, I guess.
They're kind of like the. What are those 2 hyenas in Lion King?
Yeah, I don't forget.
You know what I'm talking about.
But they're just like incompetent, stupid
side men.
Yeah, they're just little like whatever. And so they're like, all right. So the king is like, go out and get me a babysitter. But would you go to the Ewok village and steal someone to do the babysitting for us? Ha ha ha. Like, what? Like, and keep in mind when you're watching this, like this whole episode takes like the span of 2 days. So like they're trying to get a babysitter for 2 days.
Yeah.
Does that mean the dad's not hasn't eaten in 2 days? Because
probably. I didn't even think about that the entire time.
And so those X and O, they go in search of a babysitter. And so they're just in the so we go to like Latara watching her siblings, and she's like in the woods, and there's like she's like, let me sit still and I'll play the flute for you. And she's playing the flute, and then the two Dulocs, X and O, they're like, oh, we got one. We got a babysitter because she's literally babysitting right now, so we're getting a babysitter. Like, they thought they got the jackpot. And then there's rumbling in the woods. Uh-oh. What's going to happen? I thought it was like one of those giant monsters that the Ewoks have to fight. You know, that's why they have all those traps set up in the woods in the movies, because they're there to fight the giant monsters. And so this giant, like, four-legged dragon monster thing walks in and like scares the Dulocs into a tree trunk that has like a coal in it, which happens to have another monster in it, and so they get eaten alive or whatever kind of inside there. But then it's like a traveling circus that travels on these giant dinosaur things, and they're the traveling Jindas, the most entertaining thing in the world they've ever seen. And so they go to the Ewok village and like, hey, we're the traveling Jindas. We're an entertainment group. We're here to be the best whatever. And just let's stay here for one night and pay us, tip us however you like or whatever. So apparently they travel around Endor. So apparently there's other villages, other cities and towns on Endor. Like, there's all this stuff on Endor that I wish we could like actually see. Because we see
something not this show.
Yeah, because like the live action movies that was the Ewoks movies, there's like all kinds of like witches on there and all kinds of stuff. I'd be like, dang, it'd be cool to have an actual like animated kids show that was a little bit more serious, that had some of like Ewok lore going on in there. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so all the circus heads. What's the head circus guy? Like what's the title of, like, his name was like Bondo or something. Like, what's like the ringmaster? Is that what it is? Kind of like,
yeah.
So he's like just talking to him, and like Latara was like, I'm an entertainer. I can play the flute. And the guy's like, well, maybe you can have my autograph someday. I'm like, what does that even matter? Like, it has nothing to do with anything. Okay, whatever. And so Logray is like the leader of the Ewoks, and this lets him, all right, you can stay for one night. And
pretty much because that girl begged too.
Kind of, yeah. And so the next scene is just them doing their show, and it's like a guy is like a beast handler and has like these little fox things or whatever that he just does things with. The guy does like magic, but it's like fake magic because it's just a person on a rope that he does like magic to, and it lifts off the air. I'm like, that's the thickest rope I've ever seen in my life, and like no one in the crowd can see. Like, whatever. And then they got belly dancers. I was like, okay, I guess this is a kid show, and that's our thumbnail for today's episode is some belly dancers, clickbait. So if you clicked on it and you're listening, we have a lot better content than this episode. But yes, and Latara loves him so much. After the show is done, and she's like, I want to join him. And so as they're leaving in the morning, she jumps off into like one of like the like containers or whatever that's hanging off the side of the giant dinosaur thing, and she's like, I'm leaving. Like, dang, like this is kind of, she's running away to join the circus. Like, this is literally what this episode is.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And the Dulocs, the X and O, they're watching from a distance. Like, cool, they're leaving. We can just ambush them later on, and that's how we're gonna get the babysitter. Even though they're already at the Ewok village, they could kidnap some other Ewok. They're already there. Like, what's the big deal? Why do they need that one girl? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. But it's not supposed to make sense. It's a kid show.
Yep.
So,
an 80s kid show too.
Yep. And it's kind of funny because like when the Jindas first got there, like the leaders of the tribe, like, who are you guys? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But then like as they're leaving, like Logray is like, oh yeah, the Jindas, they're known for getting lost. Like, what? You just didn't know who they were a minute ago. But whatever. So they're like, oh, they're never gonna come back because they're never gonna be able to find us again. So it's like,
for years, they said.
Yep. So like us as the audience, like, oh no, that means Latara, she's never gonna be able to find her way home. She's gonna be lost. Oh, so sad. Yep. So then, what is she doing in the next scene? She's doing chores for the Jindas, doing dishes and cleaning stuff, like in one of like it's like a little like tent, like on these giant things that the ringmaster is in.
It's like a giant long neck dinosaurs or whatever.
Yep. And then as they're going along, the Dulocs, they try and jump on and like take the girl, but then like they're going across a rope bridge that sinks down, and it's too much turbulence. They fall off into the river. Like, oh, we'll get them next time. Okay. And so then it jumps to like Logray, the Ewok king, whatever. Like, oh no, she's gone. What are we gonna do? We gotta find him. And the kids are like, we'll go find her. So apparently, the leaders, the adults, don't want to go out and find Latara. They're just gonna send her kid friends, Wicket, and all the rest of the gang. Mm-hmm. And Logray is like, "Here, if you're gonna go and rescue her, you gotta take this. Like, what was it? A seed, like a magic seed." And he's like, "If you get in trouble, use this, but don't get it wet." Because like, if it goes wet, it does its thing. So when you need to use it, get it wet and throw it on the ground or whatever. Like, okay, why don't you just tell the kids what it does? So I'm like, so what? So have you seen this episode before? Because I know you watch it with.
Sorry, yeah. I'm yawning. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it before, but I don't remember it.
So, what did you think the seed did? Like, as you were watching, like, what do you think it was going to do?
I don't know.
I was like, okay, it's going to like teleport the kids. It's magic. Like, it's going to like, they're in danger. They use it. It'll teleport them back to the village. That's what I thought was going to happen.
I mean, yeah.
We'll get to it at the end. We'll
truthfully didn't put that much effort into it, so I don't know.
I was trying to get this more entertaining than it was, but what it actually does, which we'll get to later, I was like, it's kind of dangerous. They probably should have told them what it was going to do.
I mean, yeah, but kind of left us as an audience at the edge of our seat.
Yep. And
they also didn't give it to. They should have gave it to that big guy.
Yeah, he's like the teenager, I guess.
Yeah, like the muscle. Like they would have gave it to him, then at least he wouldn't have got. Like the reason why they actually end up having to use it is not because they needed to technically. It's just because the girl got stuck in the mud.
Yep. But yeah. But it was kind of interesting because in the scene, Logray refers to the night spirit. And then as they're leaving, says, "May the light spirit be with you." So I wonder if this is like kind of like a little like their version of the Force.
The Force.
But because they use magic, and magic is part of the Force. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if like night spirit, light spirit is all
little gray Force sensitive.
Maybe. Be kind of cool. A Force sensitive Ewok.
That'd be sweet.
That would be a nice. Like, what if there's like,
dude, that would be dope if I mean, Wick is probably Force sensitive because at some point he speaks English.
Then forgets it.
Before, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, because like
before,
yeah, but like, you know, the Ewoks have all this magic stuff. Like, it would be cool if, like, they had the Ewok show like focus on the magic stuff, and maybe like they used to be like recruited by the Jedi or whatever, but not anymore. So it's like we have like a High Republic Ewok show or like Ewok Jedis or something like that. Would be kind of cool.
Is this show created by George?
Yeah. Made by Lucasfilm, 1985.
Well, True, but like, I wonder how much effort he physically put into this show.
I don't remember. I remember when we did the first episode, Andrew did like a bunch of background information on the show. So go back, episode 1, season 1, episode 1. Andrew had background information for that.
That was like what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago now.
Red Buff says, "Isn't magic the dark side? So Logray equals Sith Lord."
I mean, I would watch that show.
Logray versus Darth Jar Jar in a fight to the death.
Goodness.
That'd be kind of crazy. But yeah, so the kids, they leave. They go find Latara. And so they're back in like the tent thing with the ringmaster and Latara, and they get to the stop. They're like, "Oh, we're at our next spot. Who is it?" So he opens up the door curtain thing, and it's a bunch of tree goats.
Of course.
Just hanging out.
Why not in this planet?
Yep. So
they're hanging upside down, like,
and they're just eating. They're not even sentient, so they can't understand what's
going
on.
They're like sloths and goats.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And so the Duloc show up while the thing is going, like they're doing like their show for the goats, and the Duloc show up and they're in the trees, and they put these fake goat horns on, like, "Oh, we can trick them and we can get in there and steal the kid or whatever." Like, okay, I guess. And so then Latara, she's practicing her flute, and she's like getting ready to like go out there, and he's like, "Sorry," or like the ringmaster, he's like, "Sorry, no music tonight. You're gonna be so and so's assistant, the magic guy." And so, like, she's just supposed to be the one that gets floated, so she gets a rope tied on her, and he tries to do the magic thing, and she's floating, and the Dulocs are like in the trees, like trying to reach her. But does she not realize that they're Dulocs? Does she actually think that they're goats?
I think like so. Yes.
Okay, they don't look anything alike, but whatever. She's a kid, whatever. But like things happen, so like she's like.
Also, so like when they did the whole Ewok, like there was a crowd. These goats did not even care that they were there. Like these goats were goats. Like they could care less. They didn't have a meeting with the lead goat or anything. Like they were like, "Hey, let's perform for these animals."
Yep. And so, as Latara is hanging there, the Dulocs are like climbing out on a branch. It's lowering down, to, like try and grab her. But then while that's happening, the goat up in a tree where the rope is tied to, holding her up, he bites the rope and she starts falling. But she grabs the branch, which goes down to the ground with the Dulocs on it. She lets go, and the branch goes flinging up, and so the Dulocs get thrown across the forest, and they land in like one of their like monster pens that the Jindas have. Like, okay, whatever. And so, quick little scene: the kids are walking through the forest. Oh, we found like some tracks. Like, here's a little towel or scarf or whatever it was. We're going in the right direction. Tara's like, "I want to go home. I don't want to do this anymore." And the ringmaster like, "Sorry, we're lost. We don't know where we are." And then Latara's taken by X and O eventually, and I get the end of the performance or whatever, I think it was, and so then I'm trying to think. It's like the Jindas, they like start chasing after the Dulocs, like trying to stop them. No, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I forget. I'm kind of lost. Whatever.
I don't think so. I think
am I?
Yeah.
Something like that. But then, like, okay, yeah, because my notes, I was like not paying attention too much. But so they take the girl, they escape with the girl, but like the search team, they see her being taken. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So the Dulocs
Wicked and them see that they stole her.
Yeah. And so they're like, we can't just run into the Duloc village. They're gonna like take us. So they go to the Jindas like, hey, we gotta rescue our friend like
that you lost.
And so then like the Ewok kids, they dress up, put masks over their, it's like the belly dancer like face mask that they put over their face. They like sneak in. It's like, we'll go to the Duloc village and perform for them, and then that's how we'll rescue Latara. And so it like goes to like the mom. It's like, we gotta be, oh, there's a show coming, oh, like we got the babysitter, the show's here, they're gonna have a love song that they can play, and like trying to get the king to like bring her to the show like for like a date night type of thing. And he's just like, fine, whatever, blah blah blah. And so the Jinjas, they do their show, and surprisingly the Dulocs are really a rude crowd. Who would have thought? So they're throwing fruit at him,
and that was like one of the hesitations from the main guy earlier. Was like, I don't want to go do a show for them. They're mean to us every time we perform for them.
Yep. And so everything that they do on stage, they just like booing or throwing fruit, or like they scared the belly dance girls away when they were cheering when they got on stage or whatever.
Throwing like orange tomatoes at them.
Yep. And so the way that they're going to rescue Latara was they're going to ask for a volunteer from the audience. Oh, and then they were going to do their magic thing where they float the volunteer up. And so they were going to like use the rope to pull her up, and then the kids would grab her and they would run away and escape. And so they get Latara on stage and they start pulling her up, and then there's a knot in the rope.
Of course.
It's like in Star Wars when the hyperdrive doesn't work. Like, it's just something happens. You can't just have some. So the knot. So they're trying to like, they can't pull her up because the knot keeps hitting the loop or the tree or branch or whatever. And then I'll try like, I know what I do. I can play my flute to like distract them. And like the crowd's yelling, and then like the mom is like, oh, I can't hear. This is a love song. And so the king's like, everyone be quiet. And then she starts playing, and it's like quiet, whatever. And so, but then the kids, they fall through the ceiling onto the stage. And it's just kind of
their mask comes off.
Yep, a bunch of chaos. And that's when like the Dulocs are like chasing after them. But then like the Jinnas like are all stopping them. It's like the dinosaurs are stopping them to get in the way. The king is like, or the ringmaster is like shooting, throwing food at him or whatever. And whatever, they're still chasing. The kids are going through the swamp. And then one of the kids gets stuck in the swamp water, mud. Like, oh no, this is it. The Dulocs are going to catch him. R.I.P. Ewok kids. But then our boy Wicket, he grabs the seed and throws it in the water by the Dulocs. I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? And it's just a giant vine that grows out of the seed and grabs
like an octopus thing.
And just grabs the Dulocs so the kids can run away.
Mm-hmm.
And then so the kids, they go back to the Jinja's camp and are like, hey, thanks. Like, this is great that you saved us. Like, blah, blah. But I'm going to go home. I'd rather be an Ewok than a Jinja's. And the guy's like, cool, blah, blah, blah. And that's the end of the story. Yep. Very exciting. So the question is,
fastest podcast episode of all time, 29 minutes.
We can stretch it out in our 15 minutes. But the big question is, who did it better? The Acolyte or Ewoks? Who did it better? What was better? What was more enjoyable? What had better writing? I don't know. They're pretty close.
They're definitely pretty close. It's definitely some episodes. I don't know how to answer this question.
Yep. So that was this episode. So,
yeah,
maybe in another few months we'll have episode 6,
and hopefully it's a little better than this one. Was probably the least one so far that I've
Yep, only because it wasn't like about the Ewoks.
It wasn't about
Wicked
and his friends. It was about random kids. It was a filler episode for sure.
Yep. But if you have an empty stomach, what better way to fill your stomach than with a hot beverage such as coffee or tea? And coincidentally, our sponsor today is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So let's take a little commercial break.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it. All right. Cool. Yep. So that's the Ewoks episode. Anything else, Drew?
Nope.
All right. Well, let's transition over to everyone's favorite time of every episode, voicemail time.
It's voicemail time.
All right. So we have 4 voicemails tonight. And we got some good ones. Last one, very special one. So I had to leave it for the last one. But first up, you know him, we love him. Our favorite Northern Irishman, Jakob, is back.
Jakob.
So let's take a listen.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Jakob. And just the other day, while I was sitting listening about the Dr. Aphra and Darth Vader comics, I've kind of realized that Darth Vader has a thing of trying to overthrow Palpatine quite a lot. Like, he trained Star Killer. I think there's another one. He just wants to overthrow Palpatine. And my question today is, if you were a Sith Lord, or would you rather be a Sith Lord or a Jedi Master? And you can pick any timeline where you want to be, either one of these, excluding the Disney films.
Dang, Jakob, you really don't like the Disney movies or stuff like that. This is like multiple voicemails where he's like trashing on.
And he's not old, guy.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, he has an old soul apparently, but
Jakob, don't let the hate flow through you. All right,
yes.
You're too young.
These are written for you.
Yep. All right, so
watch, Jakob's actually like 80. He's actually not a kid.
Yeah,
that'd be funny.
He's just faking it this whole time.
He just sounds like it. He just has like a voice over.
A voice changer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jakob, you know, your first comment was, you know, Vader's all about overthrowing Palpatine, and you're like, yeah, well, that's his job. He's the Sith apprentice. His job is to overthrow the Sith master.
He wanted Luke to to do it too. So like,
yeah. So like that is definitely a story that I wish we could have like in a series or a movie of like a Star Killer thing where like he actually tries to have an apprentice that he's actually training and then tries to overthrow Palpatine. That'd be really cool. Because like
Dooku kind of did the same thing too.
A little bit with Asajj Ventress.
Yeah.
But like he tried to like, oh, it's just my assassin to do my dirty work for me. Okay. But it would be cool to get like a full story on that, because, you know, the one thing that like they haven't, you know, give us an answer on is if you go and watch Return of the Jedi when he like grabs hold of Palpatine and throws him down. Like you see like Vader's skeleton. If you pause it, he has like a reconstructed neck. So at some point, Vader broke his neck and had to be reconstructed. So like, I want that story, and maybe that's him and his apprentice fighting Palpatine, and Palpatine beats him and kills the apprentice, and
it still takes Vader back.
I don't know. Would be a cool story. But his question: would we rather be a Sith Lord or a Jedi Master? Probably a Jedi Master for me, just because I want to be a good guy. It's too hard to be a good guy when you're using the dark side. So,
yeah, me too.
Yep.
Trying to think of what timeline I would want to be in, though.
I don't know. Maybe. Well, if you wanted to be a Sith Lord, you could do it sometime in the millennia that they were thought to be extinct, because then like you're not really doing too many evil things.
True, you're kind of just hiding in the shadow, but it sounds lonely.
Sounds lonely, and you still got to do dark side stuff. Like Chimera was killing people and stuff, but Jedi Master, I think you're doing good for the galaxy, doing good for people. Probably what I would do.
Yeah, I think I would actually like to do it like during the Rebel time too, and be behind the scenes doing my thing, helping out.
Like you survived Order 66 and you're trying to like help in the background.
Yeah, start the Rebel Alliance kind of thing.
That'd be cool.
I think that's the timeline I would want.
Cool. Well, thank you, Jakob, for your question. It's always great to hear from you. Next up, from Diceman, who we heard from a few weeks ago, who stated how he watched Rebels with his little sister, and we say, hey, get your little sister on the voicemail. So this is his response to that question that we had for them. So let's take a listen.
Hey guys, Diceman again. My sibling unfortunately did not want to join me for this voicemail. She's just a little shy. But she did give me her overall thoughts on Rebels after we had finished it, and she's watched it again on her own. Her favorite scenes are the ones that feature Kanan and Hera and anything that grows their relationship. And she also loves, like, her favorite episode was Twilight of the Apprentice, where Maul came back, Vader came, Kanan was blinded. She said that is her favorite piece of Star Wars media, maybe ever.
Ooh.
So yeah, there you go. Look forward to hearing more. Keep up the good work, and may the Force be with you, always.
Solid pick.
Twilight of the Apprentice is one of the best things in Rebels. One of my favorite scenes in all Star Wars is Ahsoka versus Vader, and you got all this stuff with Maul, and this is an amazing 2-part finale to season 2 of Rebels. So tell your sister that it's a good choice. We fully support her choice on what she thinks might be the best thing in all of Star Wars. But if she ever wants to send in a voicemail with you, she's always welcome.
Does she listen?
I don't know. Yeah, let us know.
Let us know if she listens.
Get her hooked on the podcast if she doesn't, and then maybe that will cause her to be like, I want to be involved.
Yeah.
Sending in a voicemail. So add another member to the fandom, please. But thank you, Diceman, for the update. Love to hear from you again. Next up, from everyone's favorite space pirate / coup d'etat expert, Garrett. So let's take a listen.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Garrett. The mission to the Colossus was a success. Although there was some First Order that I ran into there, I was able to sneak past them and get away. I started to meditate and try and hone in on my space powers that I have, but I mean, they kind of feel like more of a force I can wield rather than powers I use, so that's what I'll call it, the Force. As I have explored our region of Sorgan, I can kind of feel the Force within me stronger in certain locations. Soon I'll have to follow the pull and see where it leads me. But before that, every couple of rotations we've been sending a small group of people or families wherever they desire in the galaxy, leaving every person with about 100,000 credits each, so that they can get back on their feet. Using the money we got from raiding that Kyber crystal mining facility, my personal winnings we got from the Colossus, and obviously when we were actually pirates. So everything is going to a good cause. I also have a question for Jeremiah. With Star Wars Outlaws coming out on Friday, do you think you're going to do a review episode possibly after a little while?
Ooh.
I think that will be cool. I've been seeing a lot of good things and hearing a couple of bad things, but I'm going to play it regardless because Star Wars, duh.
All right. Thank you, Garrett. Nice update. So I was like thinking like, man, I forgot that you used to have your space powers back in the day. I was like, whatever happened to them? And here they are. So we're going to see how that plays out. You know, what is,
there's got to be a big bad. Someone's coming after him. It's going to happen.
There's going to be a big fight. He told us he might be trying to take down the First Order, maybe, kind of. Who knows? So maybe it might be Garrett versus Kylo Ren or Garrett versus Snoke. It would be kind of cool to see. So get those powers, that force that you're using under control, and I'd love
maybe it will awaken in you.
Yeah, the force could awaken. You're right. And this question was directed at me. Am I going to play... And he's in the chat right now, Gakman820. He got it early because he has Ubisoft Plus. Look at that.
Ooh, is it good? Do you like it?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Oh, here we go.
I want to play the game, but the reviews are terrible. Have you seen this stuff?
I've heard that it's horrible.
It's very, very glitchy. Like, it's terribly glitchy. The graphics are not that great. Like, the people, like, facial... It's like PlayStation 3 graphics at points and, like, cinematics. And, like, the mechanics and the AI is just terrible. And it's like, how do they let this...
He likes it. He said it's pretty good so far. It looks just getting through the...
But, like, I saw a video of, like, comparing this game to the details of, like, Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, obviously, Red Dead Redemption is one of the best games ever made. I never played it, but I hear it's, like, one of the best.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Amazing graphic and stuff. But, like, they did, like, comparisons of, like, what does it look like, shooting water? Or what does it look like rolling around in mud? And, like, what if, like, comparing all these things. And Outlaws just looks like a PlayStation 3 game, but with like
PS3 game, not 4.
Correct. Like the graphics, like the environments and stuff are gonna look nice, like better, like graphics, but like just the mechanics and how like your interaction with the environment and like AI stuff, it just reminded me of PlayStation 3. Like, I don't know. Like IGN, like I kind of trust IGN's reviews on games.
Yeah, they're harsh on like shows and stuff, but games I feel like is where they actually shine.
Yeah, like they gave it a 7 out of 10, and it was mainly because of all the the technical issues, the glitches.
But to that point, I've liked games that they haven't liked like they rated lower than that, and I've enjoyed those games. So
right,
that's actually not that bad of a rating.
So I'm kind of hoping maybe over the next couple months
they'll buff it.
They'll patch it, send patches out and updates, and all those issues will be taken care of, and then I play it and it'll be more fun. But
yeah, I can't personally get myself around to buying that expensive of a game,
especially when it's not like getting high reviews. Like if it was getting like a 9 out of 10 and like people were loving it, I'd get it this weekend probably. But one of the things that IGN said was like you can do like all these like learn these abilities and upgrades and stuff, but like it doesn't actually make you better. They're just kind of like what you want to do.
Oh, so, that's like stupid.
So it's like I think it was mainly like towards like your like the space battles, like upgrading your ship and stuff. I think they were talking about how like if you don't do any upgrades to your ship, like you can still like beat all the levels or whatever. Like, so I don't know. It just seems like they weren't ambitious enough with an open. Like, it's the first ever open world Star Wars game. Like you would think that they would go all, especially when I like just played Horizon Forbidden West, which is such an amazing like open world environment.
Bro, you gotta play Red Dead.
Yeah, I've heard.
I have it for the PS4, and I'm pretty sure it's like you can play it on your PS5.
Right.
Let me know if you want to borrow it.
All right. I'll think about it.
I think I have it. It's like a 2-disc.
Yeah, it's
but
2 discs.
It's, dude, I spent hours just hunting deer in that game. like I'm not even kidding, dude. Like that's the kind of game. Like you're like, oh, I just want to go hunting today, and you just go on your horse and go deer hunting because you can. Like,
yeah,
kind of cool.
It's like I've never even I've seen clips of that game, but I've never seen them play missions. Like I have no idea what the missions are, like what the story
for
is.
Red Dead. I think on my other Twitch channel that I don't really use anymore, I think all my gameplay, because I played it from beginning to end on that.
Really?
So I think you can go watch my old game review.
Is that Drew BS Gaming?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's definitely highlight videos on there too. But
so maybe I'll play it. I don't know. We'll see.
It's fun. But yeah, like to your point, it's an open world Star Wars game. It was originally the concept of this where you were a bounty hunter and level 1313. Like it was this big thing. And then I think another issue for me and why I'm not gearing towards it, because the whole game was originally supposed to be a bounty hunter and a Mandalorian outfit, which was actually supposed to be like the Mandalorian, and he was supposed to be on level 1313 killing people and assassinating people, and you didn't really know what side he was. He was kind of like a Batman kind of character, but it was all open world. Well, they took a lot of that concept in that game and made the Mandalorian show and kind of took that. And so now you get this female bounty hunter who personally doesn't look tough at all with a little animal on her shoulder. Nothing about it feels like deep Star Wars for me, which is why I've been oh, I don't really care. I think if it was a character, if it was Boba or a character that we already know, that they wrote a story about that and did it like that, I feel like a lot more people would have been itching for it. But it's because it's a brand new character. Right. Because I think Disney just doesn't want to worry about messing up timelines and stuff like that.
Right.
And you might interact with characters that we know, but imagine if they would have done this whole thing even without being bounty hunter, if it was just Andor.
Yeah.
A game about him doing missions for the rebellion, and it's an open world concept, and you playing as Andor. Bro, that game would be amazing.
Yeah, I think, I can't remember. I think there's 4 or 5 planets that you can go to in this game. That's open world. But they should have just focused on a single planet.
Or 2, or maybe 2, but 4 or 5 is a lot. Especially because it's open world, but is it truly open world, or is it guided open world?
Well, it's once you land on the planet, it's open world, but you can't fly in your ship and go anywhere on the planet.
Gotcha.
So the open world, it's just like any other where it's still a fixed map that
gotcha.
You can't walk around the whole circumference of the planet, but it's still open world where it's not paths that you have to follow. But I don't know. It's just I just wish they were just ambitious with a Star Wars game. Have Rockstar make it because they did Red Dead Redemption, right?
Yep, they're the same people that do Grand Theft Auto. But they're still making Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
And they've had for 15 years now or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So which is why they probably wouldn't even want to.
Then Horizon is made by Guerrilla, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dude, just get one of these.
Or even the people that did I feel stupid now because I forgot it. It's on the tip of my tongue. Whoever, the one with the dragons and stuff.
Dragons?
I don't, whatever.
Dragons? What are you talking about, dragons?
It's like an open world game where you play as like a knight, and so it was like on PS3, I think, or maybe early PS4. It was one of the bigger open world games, and they've had like Elden Ring, I think, is part of that franchise.
I have no idea.
I don't know. This is another really good open world, and I think isn't this company supposed to be good at this too?
Yeah, they're the ones that made like the Assassin's Creed games.
Oh, yeah.
Which is those are all open world or pretty big maps.
Yeah.
I haven't played an open world or a Assassin's Creed game in a long time, but I don't know. Ubisoft is supposed to be one of the biggest game makers out there, and I feel like they dropped the ball on it, which is sad. But that's why they gotta get like Rockstar or Guerrilla or something like.
I mean,
just go all out. Like if Rockstar made a Star Wars open world game, so many people would buy
sell
that.
out no matter what.
Like
even if it failed, it would sell out.
Right.
I mean, to this point, like it has to. Those aren't kid friendly at all. Like those games are not. Like.
Well, yeah, but they could still make a.
But they can make a teen version of those games for sure, and you can still twist someone's neck and kill them because it's Disney, and apparently you can do that in Clone Wars and whatever. Like, you can just twist someone's neck, so I don't think it's that big of a deal, right? Like,
yep. But maybe, how about this? Maybe if I play the game in a few months, maybe we could have me and Garrett could do a special episode review.
Ooh.
Maybe. We'll see.
I mean, like I said, I would pay it, but I don't play it, but I don't want to pay $70. Garrett says sweet in the chat, so all right.
Well, we'll see if we can work that out. Maybe
if Jeremiah starts really liking it, maybe I'll buy it on Black Friday when it goes on sale.
Get a nice mic for Christmas, and then maybe in January we can do a review. We'll see. All right, cool. Thank you, Garrett. Hopefully your space pirate endeavors are going with your force powers and all that stuff. So, last up we have one more voicemail. It's a very special one from our favorite little sister, Lucy, who has a surprise for us.
Oh, Lucy's back? I was reading the chat.
I was like, are you not responding to me saying Lucy's name?
Sorry. Ooh, wait. Okay, I gotta focus. All right, go.
So Lucy is here, and she has a surprise for us that makes me very happy. So
okay, I'm excited.
Hello there, Empire Radio. So this is Lucy, of course, and I actually have someone special with me on the line.
Hey guys, it's me, Addie. Me and Lucy are actually recording this together in person. Oh, the suspense. It's very shocking. We met up in person, so
you've been trying to plan this for a long time, but finally happening. And we're just so thrilled to finally see each other after connecting, of course, through you guys. So again, thank you so much for getting us started and together. So yeah, we hope you guys are doing great because we're doing great. But yeah, running out of time here, so I guess you want to say it together. May the force be with
you! Yay! So Lucy, dude, that is so loud. You like muted out the whole voicemail for like 5 seconds and pushed like 4 buttons at one time. So
I was just super excited for.
I'll mute that in post. But yes, Lucy is actually in the chat right now. She was.
Hello, Lucy.
She was
waiting for that.
She was lurking the whole time. So Lucy and Addie have met up in real life because they're BFFs, and that makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's so cool.
They got introduced to each other via Empire Radio a little over 2 years ago, and now they're best friends. And they are from 2 different states, and they met up, and now they're hanging out. So that's really cool. Send us a picture of you two. It'd be cool to see you two like hanging out. But yeah, so I'm very happy for them, and so I'm guessing, they go back to school next week. I'm guessing, 'cause I don't know how every state does their thing, but end of the
I
summer
feel like
trip.
some people are already back to school.
Some people are already back, but most schools don't start till after Labor Day. But end of the summer trip, meeting your best friend in real life.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. And like this year, like Will has met up with people he's met in the Discord like 2 different occasions.
Mm-hmm.
Lucy met Addie. So man, because of Empire Radio, we got these lifelong friendships developing. And we just wanted to talk about Star Wars. We never thought that people's lives would be changed like this. So
you're welcome.
Cool. You're welcome. Check is in the mail. The bill's in the mail.
Yep. We'll take that. Fine. No, that's so cool. So
yep.
Because I know weren't they going to, and they had issues, right, or something came up.
Yeah, I believe there was someone got sick and they had to cancel it earlier this year, but now they rescheduled. So, and
Death
by Pi is in the thing too. What? Dang. There's 8 people in the thing right now.
Well, I know this happens every week. Where
it's always at the very end. It's kind of funny
as we're tired, and people that we haven't talked to or seen them forever.
Yeah.
So with that, you guys come on our live streams on Twitch. If you want to distract me from a really intense announcement like Lucy being back, then come do it.
Yeah. So join the Discord and meet all these people too. That if you haven't joined the Discord. So if you want to get connected with Empire Radio, go in the description below and click on the link.co/Empire Radio, link spelled with 2 I's, and there's a link in there for the Discord. So if you want to make some lifelong friends that you can meet up in real life and have a grand old time with, join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. And the more, all these people that like Death by Pi, we haven't heard from her in a long time, and she was like very active. So it's like, hopefully she can say hey in the Discord a few often and meet these people again. It's a lot of fun.
Lucy being back, you're back in school, Lucy. So hopefully you can actually listen to us again. Less distractions. Probably not actually.
Living up to summer, doesn't have time.
Yeah.
For us at Empire Radio. But
even though last summer you were actually hanging out with us, but
yeah, dude, a little over a year ago is when EmpireCon was, and Lucy came to Minnesota, and we met her and her family.
We hung out at the Mall of America.
Yeah. Debuted the VCU. So if you haven't watched the VCU, our fan-made fan film, go check that out too if you haven't already. It's been out for a little over a year also because we debuted that at EmpireCon last year. So go check that out. But also in that link's description, there's a link to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. There's a fan email, and you can let's see what else is there. Anything else? The needlesslynerdy.com link for that, because we are part of an entertainment network called Needlessly Nerdy, and they've got all kinds of nerdy content over there that you can go check out. So go check that out as well. Anything else, Drew?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, and like we said at the beginning of this episode, be sure to check out next week's episode, our surprise episode, our pre-recorded episode. Probably one of our best, if not the best episode we've ever recorded here at Empire Radio.
Try to watch it on YouTube. I know a lot of you guys are just Spotify or Apple Music, whatever. I feel like Apple Music kind of.
I know Spotify is our main.
Spotify is the thing, but either way, go watch on YouTube and send us voicemails if you guys liked it and you want more of that style of, because we'll listen to it the next week. And send us some voicemails if you guys enjoyed it, or if you guys have other ideas for that kind of style.
Yep. And so, like you kind of just mentioned, since it was pre-recorded for next week, any voicemails that you send won't be on for 2 weeks until September 11th, when we have top 5 bounty hunters that week. So maybe you can send in a voicemail with your favorite bounty hunter and stuff like that. But if you send something in the coming week, it's not going to be on for 2 weeks. So we didn't miss it. All right, cool. Anything else, Drew? All right.
Nope.
Cool. Well, you've been listening to another Ewoks-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.